everyone. It's been a wonderful day, and after a long time, we are meeting again. And this time, we have with us an amazing speaker and our guest, that is Pooja Duseja. She's a Meta certified community manager and was also part of the Community Collective. It is a very good place if you are into communities. You can definitely search it out. She was in cohort 4 and she has multiple certifications in all the rules related to communities, how to manage communities, and there are a lot of experience that she have as a community manager in corporate. Says Pooja, we would love to hear from you, like your introduction and your experiences in community landscape.
Yeah, sure. I have around 2.8 years of experience in this field, and I have built communities in fields of developer communities, then communities of startup founders, tech communities, or community of LinkedIn creators. I kind of have a diverse experience when it comes to building communities.
Wow, a community of LinkedIn creators, founders, and it's a very diverse audience that you made a community for. Like amazing. So, Pooja, we would love to know like how you got into this community landscape because everyone have their own story. Like first of all, when you heard the name community and how you started your journey from the scratch.
Yeah. So I actually did my graduation in finance, but then after my graduation, I then realized that I don't really have a real interest into numbers, and I was just exploring different fields that I could work in, and then I got to know and about this field of community management, and I applied for a role community associate, which was my first job, and that is how I learned more about the field of community building, community management, and it kind of just clicked. And the more I walked into the field, the more it realized how much joy it brings me in you know bringing people together, the magic of it. And you never really know what is going to come out of a community. Maybe it's friendships, collaborations between members of the community, new ideas, or even startups that members can build within themselves. But this is what kind of keeps me going into this field, and kind of works each day. And but knowing that you have created a space where all of that magic can happen, kind of that is what is rewarding as a community manager.
Nice. I can totally
Yeah,
resonate with it. Like the
yeah,
feeling people are connecting, chatting, and innovating together. And
yeah, totally.
we know that yes, we gave them the space, the platform to form bonds with each other. So it's an like a unique feeling in itself. I can totally relate with it, Kusha. So as you mentioned that you have like for the first time your role is community associate. So like as a community associate, what is your work in community, like building community, or like what is your role for the company?
Sure. Once you're just starting out into this field, your roles could be looking like answering member queries. That could be a bit in community support front. That could be like answering member queries and just keeping the community alive on a day-to-day basis. Making sure that the community is not dead, that there is some kind of engagement going in the community, and also looking after the growth perspective, like members joining in the community on a month on month basis. So and events as well. So these are a few kind of verticals that you can expect to work in when you are entering into this field.
Wow, amazing. Yes, obviously,
Yeah,
it's not an easy path to build and to manage a community because everyone
yeah,
can build a community, but retaining the members and managing is where the challenge arises, and that's where managers plays their role very efficiently. And as you have
yeah.
played your role very efficiently, so amazing to hear, Pooja. And that community is like Indian Indian community, or like a global community that you have worked on?
I have only worked for Indian brands, Indian companies, but the communities that I have built are open to everyone, globally open, so anyone can join. So in that,
Nice. So, as most
yeah,
of the companies are like the Indian brands that you have worked for building the community. So, as you must have the experience of how the community building done in Indian space. So, according to you, what is the community culture in India, and is there any scope of opportunities and jobs in this space for the people who are just entering in this field?
Yeah. Uh, so I think communities have kind of always existed in India, but we never really called them communities, or like we never really had a word for them. Like think of cricket fans. It's a kind of a community in itself. Like it brings people together, and cricket fans basically. And now we are coming up with names like community building, community management, and we are finally having a structure for it. But in the past few years, kind of the idea of community kind of has gone on from like informal kind of gatherings to now, we are community managers are kind of creating full-fledged strategies for startups, brands, or even creators as well. And and with that, jobs are also coming in hand and being followed. And we are kind of seeing community led growth is the kind of jargons that you might be hearing a lot, like community led growth. So we are seeing this kind of growth.
Okay, so now amazing, good network and crystal clear quality.
Yeah.
And now we are talking about cricket fans. I guess you like cricket.
Yeah, but yeah, what the point I was trying to convey was that cricket is just one example of communities. Like communities have always existed in India, and but we just never really had a full fledged name for it. And now we are finally having a name and structure for this field of community management. And in the past few years, kind of community has gone on from informal gatherings to like now we as community people are creating full-fledged strategies for startups, brands, or even creators. And with that, obviously jobs have followed, and we are kind of seeing more roles like community manager, head of community, and even chief community officer. So possibility of such roles are getting more and more real and in demand. And so I think India is just getting started with that.
Amazing. Says
Yeah.
obviously with this a lot of roles emerge.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously. So as there are job opportunities in Indian ecosystem, right? There are people who are like taking experience in this community field and who want to be a community manager, right?
Yeah.
So like the thing arises, for all the traditional rules we have resume and CV, so that they can apply to the job. So is there any special template or like criteria of how a perfect resume for community manager look like? Do you want to share about your knowledge on this aspect?
Sure. I would say community roles kind of differ a bit than from traditional ones. But what you need to show in your CV is that, and what companies also look for is how have you built or scaled a community before, if you have experience, or even if you're fresher. We'll come to that later for a freshers part as well. But yeah, so companies look for if you have built or scaled a community, or how do you kind of handle engagement and growth in the community. And conflict is also a big part, like how are you managing conflict in the community. So that is also a skill that one has to work on. Then in terms of content of the community, if you can write and communicate clearly in the community. And next would be like having proficiency with platforms, community platforms like Discord, Slack, Reddit, WhatsApp. These are few generic ones that you need to kind of have a knowledge of if you are entering into this field. And lastly, I would just like to say you also kind of need to build a portfolio of proof. Like you need to actually show proof in your CV what kind of work you have done. Like it could be like event highlights, that event that you have managed or hosted, and content pieces that you created for your community. You can include those as a portfolio in your CV, or anything that just shows your community building efforts. And most importantly, you need people skills, because at the end of the day you are going to be dealing with people. in the community on a daily basis. So I think people skills are really essential if you strive to make a career in this field.
Right. Now the term that you've coined here, people skills, that is
Yeah,
like the right one and the perfect one that suits here, Pooja.
yeah.
So as we discussed about the portfolio, so like portfolio regarding like what any website that we have offers, or like how we will build the portfolio.
You just need to include certain things that I mentioned, like you can include if you have hosted anything, events, anything. So just link the videos to your portfolio, or any content pieces that you written or you use for your community that you created. So you can again link those to create your portfolio, or anything just shows that your efforts that went into building a community.
Nice. Yes, portfolio is also very good. And the question that our attendee Swagata has asked from us, like, how do you deal with self-doubt or imposter syndrome, especially in leadership roles? Because yes, obviously, if we are in leadership roles, we do have at any point of time get overburdened or burnt out, and feel that we are not enough, that there are people doing more than us, and obviously the self-doubt and imposter syndrome arises. So how we can deal it? Yeah, I have answered Swagita question that it's okay.
Yeah.
That imposter syndrome and the self-doubt happens with everyone, right? But
Hmm.
it's that we have to see the positive aspects rather than seeing the negative aspects. And if you want to add something like anything, how we can deal with it, like people feel like this. People are doing a really great thing, and we are not doing enough. Like something like this, these kind of thoughts. So how
Yeah.
we can overcome this? If
Sure.
you want to share anything.
Sure. From my experience, honestly, I hate to break it to you, but imposter syndrome is something that doesn't really goes away, but it kind of just evolves more and more the more you work in your respective field, and the more you work, the more confidence you gain, and again, the more confidence you gain, I think all such things like imposter syndrome or self doubt kind of fades away over time. And especially in our field like community management, you are kind of dealing with people on a day to day basis, and I would say there is kind of any one size fits all kind of roadmap that to make you feel like you're uh, you know making it up to self doubt or imposter syndrome. But what really helps me is that to remind myself why I started working in the first place in this field. I think that could be a great starter to dealing with imposter syndrome or self doubt.
Nice. I really like this ideology because
Yeah,
if we start something, then obviously we started that thing after deciding it,
yeah,
like very carefully.
yeah.
Nice. I hope this answers your question, Swagita. And if you have any more questions, please feel free to ask. Okay, don't feel that it's a silly question or no, because no question is small question. We really like your question. This is an excellent one. Yeah. So, Pooja, let's proceed ahead. As we have covered about the job market, like how one can enter into the field, and suppose if one is getting started in this space, right? So, obviously, we have to learn the things. And is there any resources that you want to share which helped you in understanding the domain better, and how one can learn deeply about this domain as a community manager?
Sure. First, I would like to take up the second follow-up question is how one can start actually in this career. So, one thing that I would suggest, which is going to help greatly, is that kind of start being an active participated in other communities that you're interested in. It could be sports or gaming or tech, AI, any community that you're interested in. Just start being an kind of an active participant, and not just don't just lurk. We kind of know that lurker kind of a member who just doesn't engages or contributes, but don't be that. Actively engage, contribute, ask questions, and volunteer for things in that community. And I think that is how you're going to get a front row seat kind of to how communities actually run. So that is going to give you a great starter if you want to start your career in this field. Then once you feel confident in that, then you can also try to create your own community that any field that you're passionate about. It could be anything, nothing fancy. It could be a small WhatsApp group or a Discord server or any niche that you're interested in. And I think you are going to learn more from managing 30 people than reading 30 things. So I think you learn by doing. So that is going to help someone who wants to start a career in this field. And resources, I would say, I think there are so many, but when I started, I never felt uh, there are any resources to help a community manager build their career in this field. But as we know that there is no kind of official degree that you need to gain in order to become a community manager. But CMX Hub is, I think, kind of a OG space for community builders. If you visit the website, their courses, their blogs, events, and even job boards are kind of gold mine for a community building person. Then another I would say that has helped me greatly is community collectives cohort program that Manik also mentioned in the beginning. So their cohort program is also going to be great. You are going to network with other fellow community builders. So that is going to kind of gain your confidence, build new skills. So and next would be Meta, Facebook's community manager certification. So these are kind of few resources that are going to be a great starter for you. And again, you are going to learn more about resources once you kind of start doing research on what are the resources or tools that you can use to gain more skills and gain more confidence in your craft.
Amazing, Pooja. The best part I've learned is you learn more by managing 30 people than reading 30 pages.
Yeah,
Learn by doing. This
yeah,
is the best
yeah,
part
yeah,
that you've shared with us. And all
yeah.
the certifications that you mentioned, are they free or paid? Like the Meta and Facebook one that you mentioned.
They are paid, but they also kind of have option for scholarship programs as well, to help it reach more and more people. So there are options as well. You don't really need to pay hefty amounts of money for these courses. If they really think you can this could be helpful for you, so you can also apply for scholarships.
Amazing. So, and we are talking about the Indian communities. So there are a lot of challenges that we faces in building community for Indian people too, because there are a lot of different cultures, different religions, different languages, different mindset. So gathering all the diverse people together in one place, that is our community. So obviously the challenges would arises, the different opinions, difference of opinion arises. Is it a challenge or is it a good thing that you see, Pooja?
Sure. Uh, One of the biggest challenges that I have faced so far in my career in community management is that one major challenge is that this whole field of community building is, I think, still widely misunderstood by companies or businesses. Because from my personal experience, what I have seen is that a lot of companies confuse community building with social media management. You might have also seen that a lot, because when you see a job post and the title is community manager, but when you actually kind of read the job description, what they're actually looking for is a social media manager. So that also kind of is very challenging for someone who's kind of looking for an opportunity in the field of community building. So that could be one of the biggest challenge. And another gap, kind of big gap that I see, that many businesses jump into community because everyone is doing it, it's a trend, and without having clarity on why they are building a community. So and if there is no purpose or alignment with business goals, I don't think a community is going to last that way, and it's also going to hamper the career of a community builder as well. But again, let's be real that community building does takes patience, because as a community builder, I have seen this as well, because we are doing tons of things in the community, but we are not seeing results, and you're not going to see results over time. It's going to take patience, it's going to take consistency, discipline, uh, and you're going to see the efforts in the community over a long run. Because I always say this, that community is kind of a long term thing that you're going to build. You're not going to see results overnight. So that can be really frustrating, that you are doing tons of things in the community, but you are not really getting any results from it. But at the end of the day, what matters is that you're showing up consistently and providing value to your community members, and kind of pushing engagement in the community even when it's kind of quiet. So those are the moments that really matter, where you are still showing up in the community, because eventually, trust me, it's all going to compound.
Wow. Amazing. So, as in the last sentence, you mentioned that try to make the community engaging, even if it's quiet. So, how,
Yeah.
like, what is your opinion? Suppose a community is quiet, how we can push the engagement that seems natural and not forceful, so that other people of the community actively take part in it and make the community active once again.
Sure. Uh, Again, very simply, just turn to members. Turn to your members. Why are they quiet? Just take honest feedback from them. That uh, why is it that they are not participating in the community? Is there anything wrong from our end that we are not able to provide value to them, or anything that we can improve so that they engage more in the community, and eventually we kind of provide them the value that they expected when they joined the community. So it's just basic that just turn to your members, ask them, take feedback.
Nice. Sometimes the people share with us, no, the community is doing great, and it's they only say the positive things,
Yeah,
right? But they don't tell the negative things. So this happens sometimes too. Let's say in a WhatsApp group there are a lot of people. There was a time when the community is like very active. People are chatting, talking about themselves, about their problems, asking for help. But with over time, the you know the active spirit of the participants fades away, and they start to like okay, take this community for granted, it's a WhatsApp group, okay, and the things getting like from the peak time when there was a time when the community was very active, and now the graph sliding down gets starting to sliding down, the community starts being very quiet, and this is like not a good sign for a community, right?
yeah.
Because if we have built a community with so much effort, and there was a time when people are very active and now they're not actively participating, or the people that are actively participating are very less in numbers, so is it a good sign? Because obviously this will make the community dead after a few weeks or months. How we can deal with it? Obviously taking feedbacks from the people is one option that we can take, right? And suppose we took the feedback and we implement that, but still we are not able to see the result. So in this situation, like I'm totally confused what we can do. If you can share some opinion or anything that we can do, or like that would be great.
Sure. I would say this, that you mentioned, this scenario usually happens when members are not getting the value that they expected when they join the community. That is one major thing. Another thing I would say is that members are not getting, they are not feeling seen or heard, or they are not getting that importance, because I would say that people love to feel important, definitely. And we kind of have to give them sense of importance to our community members on a daily basis, and this can be done through providing them roles with co-host or guest speaker opportunities, or let them volunteer, be a leader in the community. So I would say these kind of things, when you bring in such programs and initiatives in the company, in the community, they are also going to feel kind of that sense of importance, that they are contributing to the community. And I think that could be really helpful in the community.
Wow, Pooja, I'm like blown away by that term that you have coined here. Like, people love to feel important. And this reminds me of the sentences quoted by Dale Carnegie. So he's an amazing author, and I've read his book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. So
Yeah,
in that entire book, he has mentioned that people love to feel important. They love if somebody appreciates them,
yeah,
right? So
definitely.
yes, amazing. You are a proper community person, Pooja. As what you are saying totally resonate with the things that I've read by the people that have done this thing, and they are building really great communities. Amazing.
Yeah.
So as it's been quite a time since you are in a community space, I guess it's 2 years or 3 years.
Almost 3 years.
Almost 3 years. So,
Yeah.
what are your future plans, Pooja, in this exciting space? Do you want to like be in this space or switch, or like do you target as you work with Indian brands? So, do you have any aspirations to work with foreign companies?
Sure. I would say I really want to switch from this career because I want to keep exploring and building communities across different domains, be it tech, creators, finance, or anything. Because I don't really want to limit myself to building a community in one particular field. And I genuinely believe that community can be, kind of a backbone of any industry if it is done with right intent. And each kind of field or space teaches you something new about people, their behavior, and how connection works in that particular community. And I think that kind of unknowing is what excites me the most, that kind of curiosity and that unknown and kind of the learning it's going to bring for me. And again, my goal would be to never stop learning from the community, even if in the future I have 10 plus years of experience. But and another goal would be to keep experimenting with new formats, diving into more analytic side of the community, trying different platforms, or just kind of simply having deeper conversation with the members. Because one of the most rewarding things of this career is that as members you are also going to create so many new friendships in the community that you're building. So your community members are also going to be your friends as well, so you are going to build much more deeper connections with them. And I simply just want to keep evolving with every community that I build.
Wow, like making community members as your friends, amazing. So, yes, obviously
Yeah.
in the community, if there's a community member that is actively contributing and engaging with us, so the bond strengthen. And when that community member that is a stranger at once becomes your friend, you'll never know. And yes, obviously, diving into the analytics side of the community is I've heard like for the first time, because to be honest, I'm more exposed to the like on ground building communities, and
Yeah.
I haven't focused much on the analytics side of the community. So yes, taking inspiration from you, Pooja, I can maybe delve into the analytics side of community. I would like to know more like analytics side of community means.
Sure. Because even when I started in this career, it's kind of easy to get excited by member counts or likes or event RSVPs, or those are really great important metrics. But if they are not really aligned to the outcomes of business, I don't think the community is then going to sustain. And what I mean by business metrics is that those could look like increasing user retention, or if it is helping company collect product feedback from the members, or is it helping company improve their customer support due to the community, or is the community helping drive referrals to the business, and is the community eventually helping brand build trust or loyalty. So these are also the metrics that you need to look at if you want your community to sustain for a long time. Because if what you're building isn't contributing to the business, I don't think it will be very hard to sustain in the long run. And what community and business go when community and business goals are aligned, you get kind of more internal support from a community, from a company, and you get more clear budgets from the company, because company is also going to support the community if it is helping them in their business goals, revenue goals. So you kind of get a long term buy-in from the leadership.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is a new space because to be honest, as far as I have experience, I've built communities for like not community, not for companies. I built
Mm.
communities for a specific niche or for a specific cause. But yes, there are a lot of companies that hires community managers for building communities for them, so that their needs gets fulfilled by the community itself. So it's a nice thing. And
Yeah.
uh, Pooja, what do you think? Like, there are two aspects. First of all, there is a company, existed company. Now that company has a product, and now that company wants to launch a community so that it help their product getting reach or exposure. And there is a community, like a community that started with a maybe a cause or similar interest people at one place gather and they become the community over time, right? And that community later on converts it to the business or launches a product afterwards. Like in one hand we have a company first, then community come. In another hand there is community first, then business or product come. So what do you think, what is good thing, community first or business first?
I don't think there is any proper answer to what is good, but I see a lot of founders creating a community first, then a brand, because they actually want to interact with their customers firsthand, even before building anything. They want them to give them feedback, or kind. They are also kind of going to serve as a research for the founders as well, because if you are kind of interacting with the customers first and even before building, I think it kind of serves them a great purpose of they get more research, they get more feedback, so they build that way much better. So that is what I see a lot, but I don't say the other way is wrong as well. But a lot of now founders and startups are using the approach of community first, then company later.
Nice. And as you see, there are lots, right? So sometimes the influencer
Yeah.
says, hey, suppose of an influencer as social media following of maybe 1 lakh, one. So is it right they call it a community? Like, I have a community of 100,000 people with me. Yeah.
I No, no, not at all. I'm sorry to hate to break it to you, but that is not your community. Those are not your community members. The simplest definition of community is that members are able to interact with each other. Like if I'm a member of a community, you are a member of a community, I am able to interact with you personally as well. But with Instagram followers, that is not the case. I follow one person, you follow one person, but I don't know you, you don't know me. So there is not two-way communication, that is just one-way communication. So I don't think that is a community, but you can turn that audience into a community if you build a community on a different platform. But no, that is not your community.
Right, nice perspective. And suppose there are educators, tech educators that runs their courses, right? So what they do, they uh, sell their courses and create a WhatsApp group where the people joins because the person makes the courses well known, right? So so the people join that group or maybe Telegram channel, and that person sells. Or on the other hand, that person sells the courses, and the people who have bought the courses join the platform, WhatsApp or Telegram, right? So can we call it a community or can we call it a business turned into community for the benefit of that person because they want to sell the courses?
At
What
the
do you
end
think?
of the day, it's again a community, whatever you call it, if it is a business turned community for the benefit of the business, because as we talked about linking community goals to business goals, so that could be called as a community at the end of the day.
Okay, nice perspective. And suppose Pooja, let's
Yeah.
take some situation. Suppose you're into finance, right? Previously, or
Yeah.
maybe you have interest in finance too, right? Or not?
No, no, no. I would not be in this career if I had an interest there.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe there could be a degree in community management. Then obviously you'll do that later.
Yeah. As I mentioned, there are not really much degrees out there for this.
Yes, there could be like we there could be
Yeah,
maybe in
there could
future.
be.
Maybe in
In
future
future,
we
we
can
can
see
definitely, yeah.
we can see bachelors in community management in all the colleges in India, and that
Definitely,
could
yeah.
be like the best
Yeah.
thing. So, let me tell your interest, and then I'll give a situation. Like you're interested in maybe sports, any kind of sports, or anything that you can tell me. In what things you are
Sports,
interested?
yeah,
Very
sports,
interested.
yeah.
Which sports?
Or cricket,
Cricket.
as I mentioned before, yeah.
Cricket. Okay. So, suppose you love cricket. Okay. You love cricket, but the problem that you're facing is there are not many females that are into cricket, right? And you want to play cricket in every weekend because it is your free time that you get. But the problem is you are not able to find good people, or right, so that you can play cricket with them. So you decided to build a community of all the cricket lovers. Okay, majorly women, all the women that loves cricket, so that you can maybe plan a tournament on weekends or on a monthly basis, right? So you have built this community, something upon your interest. You built this community for like 2 years. Okay, you have grown it from zero to 2,000 or 3,000 maybe people. That is a real authentic community. People are interacting with each other. They are playing the tournaments and all. So now, at a certain period of time, you have a thought in your mind that I have invested a lot of time in this, right? I have made this community out of my passion. Now, as uh, suppose you don't have a job at that time. Okay, touch wood, this will not happen you, but still, let's suppose. Okay, so you have got this idea, can I turn this community into a business? But that community started with your utter passion, and at that time you never thought to convert it into a business. But now, as the community is like very active one in your region, maybe the best crickets community in Mumbai. Okay, so what do you do?
I would say it is a smart thing to turn something into a business if you're seeing that it is growing. It's nothing wrong with that. But you also need to, while you are going to turn that into a business, just keep things in mind that what is, just keep the passion and values for it in mind. Just don't lose sight of why you built it. Just, in the sake of building a business, do that, but also keep in mind why you started with that. What was your thought process, what were your values and missions while you were building that community. So if you keep hold of those basics, I think it's nothing wrong to turn it into a business and monetize it.
Nice. Now, monetizing, community monetizing is an important aspect that we came across now in our
Yeah.
discussion. So, Pooja, how, like, there are a lot of communities out there in India. There are like students community, or like health communities, or sports communities, or a lot of communities. So, how one can monetize their community? You can give me any example of your past experiences, or a hypothetical example too.
Sure, but it again kind of depends on what kind of community you're building, in what field you're building, and what is the business, and what are the products or services that you can provide to the community. So, if I'm a tech company and I am going to sell them the course, that would be the way of monetizing from the community. Like, yeah.
Suppose there is no company, you are the person. Let's take an example of cricket community. You are the person, you have started this, you're not a company, you don't have a product, but you want to monetize this community. Something like this situation.
Yeah. Monetizing it through events could be a great starter. Like, you are kind of now kind of these managing events, or uh, like it could be you are gathering people and gathering community members, and then you are playing cricket on a weekly basis, or twice a week, or however it works. And that could be a great way to monetize through events and kind of selling an experience to the community members. And they are obviously passionate about cricket, so that won't be a problem, that if members are going to show up or not.
Nice. So obviously that will help on the community at the longer run. So with this, we have a question from our amazing attendee, Swagita. So she is asking, first of all, thank you so much, Swagita, for joining and actively listening. You are asking questions. That means you are very, very interested in this. And yes, so she is asking, how do anyone stay motivated and avoid burnout? If anyone wants to manage both passion, community leading, and your career, because obviously if one is in college or like at the early days of their career, but that person also loves community. So but there is like a little bit difference. If your career is community, that is different, but I guess in your
Yeah.
question you are separating both. Your career is different and your passion is community different. So how one can feel motivated and avoid burnout, because it's not easy to manage both, Pooja.
Sure, sure,
So what do you
definitely.
think?
Burnout is something, yeah, it's definitely real, and I don't think passion alone is going to protect you from burnout. But when you are deeply passionate about something, it's kind of easy to overdo stuff, because and overdoing things is, I think, leads to burnout. So, and especially with community building field where your emotional or kind of people skills are often going to used, you are kind of going to feel burnout. But what has worked for me is that setting clear boundaries and understanding that I don't have to be kind of productive all the time. So some weeks you are going to be in full execution mode, other weeks you are just going to be into that rest kind of a mode. So I think again showing up is what matters the most. And uh, if possible you can just divide things up. You don't need to do everything at all time, as Swagita mentioned that full-time role is in career in tech, but passion for community building. So it could be like you do your job throughout the week, and on the weekends you give time to your passion, or at the end of the day you give time to your passion, because that could be your idea of unwinding through the day by giving some time, more time to your passion. And finally again, like stick with why you started, like protect your why, kind of when you kind of see that things are getting overwhelming or you're feeling burnout, just kind of pause and ask yourself that why did I started this in the first place. And I think that is going to be a good enough, the answer is going to be good enough to make you feel better again.
Wow, beautifully answered, Pooja. I hope so, Agita, your question is clear. And that why is really important, Pooja, because I've seen the most people started something and on their journey they just forgets their why and their whole motive and vision changes. But that
Yeah,
if they are able to stick to their why, then the thing obviously would be in the right direction. And let me confess something in this session itself. My community life, my personal life, my academic life, my family life is all like intersection is going in intersection. It's like they don't add, all these are not different, they are single one. And trust me, it's very challenging. So Pooja, setting boundaries as you mentioned is very very necessary, and it's not easy sometimes to set boundaries, Pooja. Let's take an example for me. Suppose I'm with family and then obviously I see my calendar and oh, I have a meeting, I have a session, I need to come. So yes, my community life started. Or after that, I see, oh, this work is pending. My corporate life
yeah.
started. So all these life are like intersected together. So how we can set boundaries, Pooja?
Yeah, sure. Definitely, as you mentioned, it is going to be difficult to setting boundaries, but I would say it is kind of most underrated things that one can do for themselves, because uh, and it is very crucial to set boundaries, because when you are deeply passionate about something, like in Sogita's case building a community, it's always kind of tempting to be always on your on always to be productive. But saying yes to everything is, I would say, the fastest part to feeling burnout. So that is why it is important to set clear boundaries. And you kind of need, even in your head you kind of need to define what is your capacity for the day. You need to clear that in your head, uh, first of all, because once it is cleared in your head, then you can convey it and kind of set a boundary with that.
Wow. Uh, Saying yes is the easiest way to get burnout. Obviously,
Yeah,
I've done this. I've practiced this in practical life for like past 2 years, and now I've burnt out.
yeah,
I feel burnt out. Yes, obviously now I have started to say no to a little things. So yes, obviously
yeah,
don't
yeah.
say yes to everything and learn to say no is the best
Yes,
part.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So with this, I would like to close this with an ending or wrapping up question, Pooja. So I would like to ask what suggestions you want to give to the people who want to come into a community as a career, who are seeing themselves in the community as a career, whether as a community manager or like any role. So what do you give suggestions to them that are early, very early in their career? Any best practices so that they can be really successful in their career ahead?
Sure. Um, First, before even starting your career in this, I think one needs to kind of start with their mindset that community building is not just about bringing people together, but it's also kind of driving value for both your community members as well, and the business that you are building a community for. So both of these parties need to be kind of happy and satisfied and provided value if you want your community to sustain, as I mentioned before. So, and it kind of community building is kind of a craft that again requires you to be a people's person with strategy, operations, all of those heavy jargon kind of skills, but you also need empathy as well, because you are going to be dealing with people on a day-to-day basis. So that is kind of the mindset you need to have when you are starting in this. Another thing would be is that the most basic thing is going to be build your network around people who are kind of doing this on a daily basis, like build your network around fellow community builders. LinkedIn is a great place to start. LinkedIn, Twitter, or any platform that you want to build your network on. So building your network on such platforms, staying active on those platforms, and interacting with your network as well. Like, you're going to learn so much from your network by just uh, seeing what they are talking about, or just asking them questions, or interacting with them, and taking mentorship from them. I think your network, people will actually say, right, like network is your net worth. So I think you are going to learn a lot from the network that you are going to build. So, and I think in the future you are going to kind of thank yourself that you built your network from the early on in your career. So that is going to kind of help you attract a lot of opportunities in your career.
Wow, and I thank myself because I network with Pooja, and I get to learn a lot of things from her today.
Yeah,
Um, Thank you so much, Pooja, for sharing your all the insights, experiences, thoughts, and answering for all the questions beautifully. And thank you so much, Swagita, for joining today. It's
yeah,
been a lovely day, and may you have a lovely week ahead. And maybe we can see each other again. And looking forward to stay in touch. Thank you so much,
sure,
Pooja,
sure.
for joining.
Thank you for having me.
Bye.
Bye.